Okay, I'm back. Today we are going to be doing some live channeling, some live healing sessions, some live readings. So I'm excited for that. I'm just going to wait for everyone to kind of come in. I'm representing the Rolling Stones today. Who loves my look? So I did a little cat eye, right? I did all straight hair with a pony and like a knot here. Yay, I see there's one person here. Please comment below and show me who you are. So I can actually see you, so I can say hi to you, so I can tap into you, so we can do some energy readings. Melissa, oh my God. Melissa and the signature pixie cut. Okay, so you know what is super exciting? Okay, so I am going to be doing some channeling here because I'm doing these new like witchy sort of like intuitive readings. So what we're going to do you want me to read you, Melissa? Because you were here first, so we can do that. And I feel like I've wanted to read you for a while. Like I've seen you on here a couple times, but I haven't actually got to read you. So this will be cool. Well, first tell me if you want me to. Probably I'm going to anyways. What is this little hair? It's so annoying. It's like a baby hair. Okay, so what we want to look at is healing into overflow, right? So by now, pretty much all of us online, we all know that like money and overflow is a byproduct of who we are, right? Like we all know by now that the healing is the thing that gets us to the next level, is the evolutionary growth, right? And so what can happen is we can get overly focused on the goal. So Melissa, why don't you tell me, like, while I kind of like tap in, why don't you tell me what, like, if you could have literally anything right now, besides fixing my little baby hair that's sticking out, if you could have literally anything plop down into your life / business right now, what would it be? Like, what's the thing that you really would love to happen in your life to bring you into overflow? Because what we're looking at, if we look at overflow means you are full, and then adding one little drop to you puts you into overflow, right? Like you are full, healthy, and whole, and anything you add immediately puts you into overflow. Hi, Monet. I love you. So when I'm kind of like tapping into you and the thing that could bring you into overflow, number one, there's definitely coding around the past. There's definitely defense mechanisms around, okay, soulmate one-on-one clients. So what I'm feeling like is there's stuff around the past that's blocking you from being able to move forward. So it's not that you don't want to move forward, and it's not that you have fear about the future, it's that there is stuff from the past holding you back, which has to do with protection mechanisms, defense mechanisms, keeping your heart safe, keeping your body healthy and whole. Like it feels very much like a guarding, right? And it might not be something that you're completely aware of. Let me just turn this music off. It's distracting. Because a lot of times when we've already been through a certain amount of like work on ourselves, which is healing, because people get scared to use that word healing. But when we've done a lot of work on ourselves, our defense mechanisms, they become very hidden, right? It's not like these big obvious things. So like Melissa, let me just see if I can tap in a little bit longer, because it also has to do with flexibility and you being very stuck in very certain and specific ways that you're doing things, right? And Monet, for you, it's more about fear of pain, fear of what could happen if you opened up. So Melissa, in the vision and the visual of what they're showing me is like all of the hurts and the things that you've gone through in the past, and how you've kind of been forced to protect this protective shield around you. And this could be around backstabbing. This could be around potential breakups and divorces. This could be around things that kind of like blindsided you, and things that were being done or said about you in the, like even like behind your back that you got hit with after. Like some things might have happened that you didn't realize happened till later. This is kind of like what I'm feeling. I've been a path on healing for years. So it's like this feeling of things that you didn't see coming, or things that you maybe had like a little hint or a little feeling or a little nudge that something was coming and you trusted and it did you wrong. Like there's these feelings of potential resentment, feelings of like you hurt me and you purposely hurt me and like how could you do that, and then feeling really defeated by it. I let go of a lot of relationships and friendships. Yeah. And so the thing that what it feels like there is that it wasn't so much of like things that were your choice. It more felt like I have no choice. Like I have to let this go. Even if I wanted to keep going, like I couldn't even continue these relationships, even if I wanted to. And so what it feels like is when a relationship has come to an end, mostly it's been you at the bottom of your power. So anytime that a surge has been broken, it's felt like you're at the bottom of your power. You have no choice. You are feeling weak as fuck, and you literally just can't. Like you literally cannot. And so what's happening is there's more healing to be done on that so that you can move forward and move into overflow, because that feels like it's the thing that's like holding you back, is there might be some unresolved feelings of resentment, feelings of whatever, this and that, that's preventing you from being able to really move forward. So let me just tap into, so when we think about your one-on-one clients, okay, so this is where I'm starting to get a little closer. So this is why it would make sense that what you're working on is one-on-one clients, and what's coming up is one-on-one relationships, right? So what's coming up is all of the people in the past who you've been very close with and basically given your heart, values, soul, like everything. Like it feels like you're such a giver. Like it's so beautiful. Your energy is literally like so gorgeous. It's pink, like your whole aura is pink, and it's just so gorgeous. But what it also feels like is that maybe in the past, or maybe you have the potential to love so much that it can almost blind out underlying things that could be happening. Because the strongest energy always wins, right? Like we all know that the strongest energy always wins. So sometimes when you are love, you are emitting love, it kind of can almost make you blinded by love, right? And not be able to follow or see those hunches, because we're constantly in a high of loveness. Like I feel like you just love so much. And so anything to feel love, and what can happen is you can like disregard red flags in order to be able to feel that really strong love. Do you know what I mean? So this is one of the things that's kind of like holding you back. And Monet, I'll go into you after if you're still here. So in connecting to these one-on-one clients, let me just tap into that, because I feel like what we're looking here, when we think of like your gifts and the specialty that you have to offer to the world, is like this really ability to feel so open and to feel so honest, and like everything coming out of your heart center is truly impactful. It truly is seen, felt, and heard. And when you get out of character is when you have to be aggressive, when you have to be more stern, when you have to raise your voice, when you have to set boundaries. That actually isn't something that super aligns with you. So anytime that you feel yourself wanting to like set up boundaries, that is healthy for a lot of people, but for you specifically, it's actually not about that. It's more about lowering gates. So for you, it's not about, because what happens is when you go to set a boundary, you're doing it out of like feeling like you have to, when what you really want to do is go all in. This is what I feel like is, so it can be difficult because in the coaching world especially, there's a lot of talk about boundaries, and there's a lot of talk about how we have to like draw a line on our giving and things like that. But what you actually need more of, like for you specifically, is to reverse engineer all that, because you're built a little bit differently. it's very important for you to know and feel like you went all in on something, and it would actually be against your human design, against your will, against your structure, and against the way that you're designed to hold back anything. So for you, it's going to be super important to put everything out there and to know that you didn't hold back in everything that you do. So even when it comes down to, sharing like free, I don't know why I'm crying. I have no idea why I'm crying right now. Okay. So if we can just drop down into our heart centers to like actually feel the energy, because I feel like what's happening now is it's not about hearing the words that I have to say, it's more about feeling what I'm saying. So if we can all just drop down into our heart centers and not so much focus on what my verbal words are saying and more focus on the energy that's coming out of me. So what it feels like is just these waves, right? Like it just feels like this energetic like heat wave that's coming out of me and pouring over the people who are listening. So if you can actually let yourself, so that's me giving my gifts to you energetically. So we're going to talk about, we're not talking in human words now anymore. So don't worry about making sense of what I'm saying right now. I just want you to focus on receiving the energy. So as my heat wave of warmth and comfort is coming out of me, this is my gifts, and everyone on here gets to receive that. And why don't we all say what we feel like when we let that wave hit us, when we let that wave wash over us. That's so beautiful, Monet. Because you know, when I see your body receiving my gift, it actually turns to platinum and it turns to gold as it integrates into your body. So for you, Monet, it's like very much this feeling of being carried. This is how I communicate better in energy. And so Melissa, for you, what it does is it really calms things and it cools things. Like what I see when my gifts enter your body, what I feel is it takes anything that's ill-tempered or anything that is unresolved and it basically fizzles it out and it kind of like disintegrates it and cools it down. Because what can happen is passion, when passion is not being received, it turns into anger, right? So for Melissa, when those bubbles are like any kind of like old resentments or old anything, is like bubbling up, what's happening now is you're receiving the wave of water that I'm emitting, and because it's not very harsh and aggressive, it will hit your body and then it will go room temperature and it will adjust to your body as it goes through, and then it will wash away any resolving things without us having to have a mindset breakthrough, right? So, and then with Monet, what's happening is the wave comes through and it takes any things that were good and basically turns it platinum, any thoughts and feelings, it turns it platinum, and it solidifies those and makes it so that it's something stable, sturdy, and in your foundation, and it will actually show up in your life as something to be seen so that you can have evidence or proof. Because I feel like when something actually plops down physical as a manifestation, and it could be something as simple as you noticing a specific raindrop or a leaf like kind of like falling through the air. Monet, for you, when you see a visual of the energy in front of you, it helps you to like believe that much deeper. And so for Casey, if you actually open yourself up to receiving, what I feel like is it's like this clearing of the throat chakra. So what happens is it's coming up and it's swirling up and it's coming through, and then there's an urge to like push down because it might feel slightly uncomfortable. Hi, Jennifer. So there's an urge to push down because you're like, ooh, I feel something weird. It's like a gurgling kind of like bulgy, bloaty feeling. And if you actually just allow it to come through, because I feel like actually you're used to letting go of energy this way. So what might happen is your body is used to receiving energy like through the crown, coming this way and then pushing it out through your body. But there's a new healing modality that's coming up for you to actually pull the energy in and then purge it out through your throat chakra, through your ears, and release pressure through your crown, right? So as you do that and you just like feel through the discomfort and just let it allow to come out of your throat, out of your eyes, out of your head, you will feel a release. And then Jennifer, so as we're talking about everybody who's able to like tap into the healing and the receiving of the energy. Hi, Eliza. Jennifer, the way that I feel like you receive it is all through the back of your neck and through the back of your head. And what it does is it comes down, it loosens up in the shoulders and releases any kind of tension, not just in your body, but in your thoughts, in your feelings, in your awareness. Because I feel like also you have a way of getting overly stimulated and overly focused on things, and then it can turn into also an obsession that is unhealthy. So for you, what I feel like is my energy can come through like a heat wave, through the back, through the bottom of the neck, releasing any kind of decoding as far as structures that are no longer working for you in your life, business, and body and nutrition. And it comes down through your backbone. It releases any kind of tension because you've got a lot of tension sitting up through the neck into the jaw. And when there's too much tension up there, it also causes you to not be able to communicate effectively, and it puts a harshness on your communication. So as you allow that energy to come through and even protrude out of your nipples, I even want to say, because your nipples are nurturing, and we do have the tendency to sometimes over nurture or aggressively nurture. So this is one of the pieces about you, Jennifer, too. So as we go down and as we run the healing through our hip flexors and actually open up to opportunities and open up to more potential clients and open up to being penetrated by love and healing, what can happen then is it comes in almost like a douche. The energy comes into the vagina portal, comes up into the body, swirls around, and then just lets go, just like as if your water was to break before a birth, and then you're able to go forward and create. So wasn't that a wonderful little riff? So what we were doing here, for everyone who's just tapping in, is we were just talking about healing, and somehow I got into like the riffing of like how we receive each other, right? So I was reading Melissa. So Melissa, for you, what I was saying is it's very important for you to be able to go online, even with your free content, and be able to like not hold back. So it's really not about holding back on energy in fear of overgiving. That is not your aligned thing. Your aligned thing is giving until you feel so full of like, that I did and gave my best. That's the most important thing for you. Eliza, what do you work on when you feel like you're projecting your future based in your past too much? Okay, so what do you work on when you feel like you're projecting your future based on your past too much? Okay, so what I'm gonna do, Eliza, is I'm gonna talk to you in form of energy instead of form of like practical human thoughts. And I'm gonna do this with everybody who's on here, actually. Thank you for this. Gosh, girl, you're gifted. You're welcome, Melissa. So this is what so I have this new healing session package, which is called Witches Hazel. And it's 3 30-minute healing sessions over Zoom where you get to like talk to me and we move through energy together. And we aren't just talking humanly, we're like really feeling energy so that you have things integrated in you forever. So you're not constantly learning the same lessons and hitting the same plateau marks over and over. So it's 1,000 for 3 30-minute sessions. These are the new Witches Hazel sessions that I'm coming out with. So Eliza, instead of telling you a human thing, and we will get to the human practical wording of this as well, we will do that as well, but what I'm going to do is actually tap into your body and you receiving my gifts. So number one, as you receive my gifts, it's like a wave. Like I want you to listen to my words and feel them in your body. So it's not so much that you're hearing what I'm saying and trying to make sense of what I'm saying. What I feel like you need to do specifically, Eliza, is tap into the vibrations that are happening in my throat chakra. So you have this beautiful gift to zoom into very specific chakras on people and really feel their energy from one very potent chakra. So what I want you to do, Eliza, this will be part of your healing modality going forward in life, is I want you to feel the vibrations of my throat chakra, and I want you to feel it embracing your crown is probably where it's going to go, because it's all defined, right? So as you feel that, it's like this tingling sensation that works above you and around you, and it's breaking up the energies that have been circulating around you and holding you back from the past. So although, here's the crazy fucked up thing. So Eliza, you are constantly letting go of energies out of your body. So you're constantly purging energy out of your body through dance, through nutrition, through workout. So your body is one very clean portal. But here's where you're getting fucked over. Your environment isn't clean. So although you've cleaned up your insides, the reason why you continue to have things thrown at you is because your environment continues to throw things at you. So you've cleaned up the internal, but you haven't done the practical to-dos of cleaning up the external, right? So it's kind of like if you look at your energy and you look at your outfit, like I'm literally being shown like you're putting on this beautiful outfit. You are beautiful. You are a vibe. You fully know that and you fully feel that. But then every day you're walking into a room full of cigarette smoke and you're getting that smoke all over you and you're coming out like, oh, like I just need to clear this. I need to clear this. And you do so, but then the next day you walk right back into the cigarette smoke. So this is what you keep doing, is you keep exposing yourself to external environment, hoping that it's going to change or it's going to get less smoky. And I don't know if it will. Hi, Sue. I always remember your eyes. Sue has the most amazing, like deep set, penetrative, soft eyes. Like your eyes tell a story, Sue. I'm telling you that. And we're all going to be, so everybody on here, as you guys are talking, I'm going to tap into various different energies. So I'm going to do this reading like kind of cool, where I'll give different focused attention on different people at different times and like pieces of readings all the way through of how I feel like your gifts work for the world and how you also receive gifts. So, and the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm offering these new witch hazel readings, which are going to be focused on healing so that you can get to the place that you want to be. But the biggest reason why the people, everybody who is here right now is not driven by results. Everybody who is here right now is driven by evolution. Everybody who's here right now is driven from feeling. Everybody who is here right now is looking for somebody to connect with and somebody to feel. They're looking for something deeper than how much money I'm making or what I can give to you or the strategy that you can get out of this or what you can give, get, blah, 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 blah. Like what we're really moving into for all of us as coaches and as we celebrate our evolutions is who we're becoming. Like I don't want to hear anymore about how many people made it into your master class or like how many money you made in how many days. And it's not actually that I don't want to hear that, because we love that. And I actually do. Like I absolutely love us all succeeding together. But what I really want right here for us is like something a lot deeper than that. And I have no idea why I'm being a drama queen right now about it. I think it's just like I'm feeling everybody so immensely. Okay, Monet. Evolution, feelings, deeper understanding. Totally have. Okay, so without worrying about like looking fucking crazy right now, crying over literally nothing, I think it's because of the ego death that I recently went through. Okay, so Okay, so what's actually going on, I think. Oh my God, I didn't want this to be about me. So for those of us who have went through a really big transformation, like, you know how, have you ever felt like you just have become a different person? Like fully, like transformed from the inside out, like all the way. And we're all showing up here and we're all doing the work, right? And we all know that we are looking for like the outside circumstance to match that as well. And I think that sometimes we can have this idea like, okay, if I work on myself, like that's going to be the thing that brings the goal, right? If I work on myself, if I take down my boundaries, if I take down my vulnerability, like that's the thing that's going to make us, that's the thing that's going to like make me have my moment, right? If I be soft, if I don't do the thing where I can tell I'm going into ego, that's going to bring me to my moment, right? I'm like, okay, I'm going to like be better in my marriage. I'm going to really take down that fighter. I'm going to stop fighting. I'm going to put those swords away. That's going to be my moment, right? And then sometimes what can happen is you're like, it's still not my moment. I don't understand. And it's like, have you ever felt so incredibly happy and so sad at the same time? And I think what happened to me, which I didn't mean to make this about me, I was more wanting it to be about you guys, but here I am. I think what has recently happened for me is I've really stepped into my gifts as a healer and as all the things, and I've never felt so proud of like who I am. And it's like, I don't understand why that doesn't sometimes change the external situation. Like, have you ever felt so happy and whole while also feeling disappointed at the same time? It's confusing. It's fucking confusing. Like, okay, so my gifts are like crazy expanded. I feel so happy, whole, and healthy in my life. I love every fucking client that comes into my life. I've softened. Like, I am the most incredible human being. Like, I know that. I don't feel not worthy. I feel amazing. And for some reason, that's still not enough to like change the external environment. And so recently I just went through this thing where I was like, how is this still not enough? Like, I don't understand. And maybe, I don't know, can I still trust? Can we all still trust? And when I get into situations like this, what I really try to do is go below the surface to like, what is our soul actually wanting out of this? So when we look at when we're getting the money, right? Because like, I'm like, I have my dream life and a good bank account. Like, I have a really good bank account and a dream life. And I really had to sit down and be like, maybe I'll never be a millionaire. Like, maybe I'll never be a millionaire. Can I be happy for the rest of my, can we all be happy for the rest of our lives never being a millionaire? Can we? And I think that I can. Will that be disappointing? For sure. But like, can I have that next layer of trust? Can we have that next layer of trust after feeling healthy and whole, feeling happier than ever before, doing everything right, doing all the work, and it still doesn't make you a millionaire? Can you still trust and still keep going? And what it came down to was like, hi, Austin, like, I'm not going to stop doing life. I'm not going to stop doing my channeling. I'm not going to stop running my business. So I might as well just, I don't know, like pull up my panties and kind of like move on. It just, you can't help sometimes but feel disappointed when you it's not even like you're doing more. You're literally being this incredible human being. And you're like, is this somehow still not enough? Like, is it? And can you hold on just a little longer? Can you trust just a little longer? So as I tap into like us as a collective, when we go through an ego death, I swear to God, so I went through an ego death and it was like every day I thought the ego death was over. Boy, was I ever wrong. Every day I thought the ego death was over and it punched me with something else. The impact is on the way. Yeah. What would you say to someone who's going through this, but also everything is falling apart business-wise? Okay, so I just need to shake it off for a minute. Okay, so as we go into what we're all stepping into, because I truly feel like every single person on this live needs to let go of money. I truly feel like every person on this live has let go of money already or needs to trust it on another level and go really deep into her healing and know that we're healing regardless. So as we talk about being able to receive all of each other's gifts, because we all have the ability to receive one another's gifts right now, right? And so as I was talking about how the energy like flows through our bodies, so like Erin, because when you put little hearts, I know that you're still here, so then I can like talk to you, right? So Erin, the way that you receive my gifts is through laughter. So as I say things and as our energy collaborates, what happens is the laughter breaks up little portions of things that we thought we had to be so serious about, and then it vibrates through your body and allows you to elevate, right? So speaking from not a human sense, but speaking from a vibrational effect, Kendra, the way that you are kind of going to receive me, it feels like very drawn to the throat chakra. And then what happens is it kind of blasts open your throat chakra and your ability to communicate like, okay, I see this girl, I feel this girl, I hear this girl. I'm open for communication. I'm open for respect and love. And then what we want to do is push that into our heart center and feel that heart center burst open. So as you do that, as you feel that air flow through your chakra, feel it through the back as well and like blast through the back too. And then it'll start coming out of your eyes and you'll start to be able to look at things different, hear things different, and all of those things different. And it actually will go even into a tingling on the head. I've been exploring a similar story around money. Thank you. So for you, Sue, what I feel when you receive my gifts is actually down here through your sacral, through your portal, and through your feminine, like through your puss hole. So for you, I actually see your healing modality as more of going through, you either let things out of your vagina hole, probably also your butthole too. And if you want to, it feels like where do you pull energy through? It almost like just penetrates your whole skin. So Sue, for you, it's like a full body tingle. So if you step into the energy and just feel what I'm saying instead of listening to what I'm saying, what you can feel is tingling all around the surface of the skin, and then you can feel it go a little deeper and you can actually let it penetrate you, and then what needs to let go comes out of the vagina hole, comes out of the butthole, and it gives you excitement and it will allow you to come up further and come more to the surface. So the more you spill your heart out, the more you gush from that place of love and heart center, the more you gush about the things that you love, even if it's something as simple as the meditation you had, the butterfly you seen, the sunset that you walked through, that's going to be your source of like really healing and love. Eliza, I've been getting the message. I'm not here for instant gratification money. I'm here for the evolution, quantum healing. Yeah, and Eliza, because I know that you're going through a ego death or just have been through, the money thing is part of the ego death too. It's like, can you truly detach from money? Can you be healthy, whole, complete, and even detach from money? And even if that doesn't do anything, can you still do it? Like, are you still here for it? Because we all say we're not here for the money, but when the money is not coming, can you keep going? Or when the money is coming, but it's not coming as strong as you want, can you keep going? Can you keep trusting? When you feel like you've done literally everything and you're in the right mindset and you're not feeling fear and you're not running away and you're not chasing and you're feeling completely healthy and whole, can you still trust even deeper? And can you still even keep going? Because it's like, or will you bail? Or will you decide to go and do the easy thing? Or will you do the sabotaging thing that could take the pressure off? Will you go and lower the price? Will you go and change your mind? Will you go and ghost the thing? Will you go and shut down in your relationship? Like, will you be able to continue to be vulnerable to the point of almost embarrassing? Can you do that? It's not a Tasha live without some posts. So true. Incredibly thankful. Ego death here too. Fuck yes. Still here for it. Yes. Okay. So Atina, I feel like for you, the way when you receive gifts, it almost feels like a dump of like blasted. And I think a piece of that is because you really like intensity. And you will crave intensity. And so in the craving intensity, what happens is people will often blast you, or you will get blasted with energy. And sometimes that can be a sabotaging thing too, because you would rather feel something intensely than nothing at all. So when things do happen, they happen hard and they happen fast. So your next step of your evolution, are you willing to feel the gentleness? Are you willing to feel the tenderness? Are you willing to feel the power of looseness, of gentleness, of the whisper, and of the nudge? Because I feel like you let things build up and you ignore the whispers and you push the whispers down, and then when it comes in hard and strong, then you whip off your gloves, you pull up your panties, and you deal with the thing. So can you whip off your gloves, pull off your panties, and deal with the thing even when it's gentle? Because that's your self-sabotaging thing for sure, is the need for things to be intense, and then it creates intense conflict in your life as well. Just hard sometimes to keep going when external reality is exactly the same. I always have to bring myself back into alignment. I get it. I hear you. I know. And it's like, I think what happens is when we get hit with an ego death, it's like, okay, I'm getting hit with this thing in life no matter what. And what it feels like is like, this really wasn't a choice. This wasn't something that I wanted to go through. This wasn't like an intentional, like it was intentional healing. Like I sat down and I did the work and I went through the ego death and I did everything that I had to do. But like the ego death didn't feel like a choice. It felt something that was just blasted onto me. So of course I'm like, okay, well, I'm going through this ego death, whether I like it or not. So I can take and extract the lessons and like feel every morsel of it. And then I think what we do is we hope that that's going to be the thing that's going to bring us to the next level. And it does bring us to the next level of integrity, of power, and of our gifts. But that doesn't always mean in that instant that it's going to bring us to the next level of receiving money. It might bring us to the next level of receiving something else. And I think it's like we have to trust that we're receiving whatever we are meant to receive. So like for me, when I really decided to open up to receiving, what I started to receive was to be able to experience people's gifts inside my body very deeply. So it didn't necessarily come in a money dollar amount. It came in an energetic feeling. So I think that's what I'll start to go into readings on next, is like everybody's gifts and the way they're received. Because for all of us healers and all of us intuitives, what we're often craving is someone to mirror back to us like what our real special it factor is. And so as we do healing sessions, like with these witch hazel sessions that I'm doing, it's not even necessarily about someone who is trying to achieve something. Like you might be doing amazing in your business and you're just here for self-evolution. Like you're really not attached to a result because you know that being open is the number one result. So, for those of you who are here, can you comment so I can like tap into like your specific gifts and what I feel like you have to offer to the world? So Julia, I see that you are here because you just dropped a thingy. So for you, this is such a beautiful realization. Yeah. I'll do you next, Eliza, and then Michelle. So okay, so Julia, in your special gifts that I feel like you have to the world is when someone's actually fully able to receive you, there is a lot of humor, there is a lot of lightheartedness, there is a construction for a design, an ability to see something in your mind visually and literally create it physically in your life. Like I feel like this is a huge part of your specialty, and that you're also very good at helping people to plan things. People who are looking for a little bit of structure, people who have the creative eye, but they lack the steps, right? Like they are the visuals and they're the visionaries. And what you do is you come in and you're like the stepping stone and you help them to architect their life, to build it in a very specific way that is suited to their life. So that's how I explain that in the human words. And if I'm to explain that in an energetic way, if I tap into the energy of your gifts, it's literally like this sparkling yellow light that comes in, and it comes in through whole body, mostly to the upper body and core values. And it's kind of like it's really interesting. It like regenerates, like it puts creativity inside somebody. So like as your energy goes into their body, it takes all of their dead energy, it takes all their neutral energy, and it takes all their flat energy, and it rebirths it. It like literally spins air around it, each little nerve thing. And then in turn, a new energy is birthed. And so 50 million new energies are birthed through their body, and then one big thing comes forward, which is a big project. So it takes all the little things, it takes all the little ideas and desires that have been pushed down or deleted through human brain and like shoved down, like, I don't think I can do this. My mom told me I couldn't do that. Nobody believes in me, blah, blah, blah. And it basically takes those 3-year-old, 5-year-old, 10-year-old girl desires, and it makes it so there is no choice but for those things to be birthed into the world. So like if you ever had a dream of like building a Barbie mansion, like I feel like you help people design their dream Barbie house, their dream Barbie mansion, like, and it just comes in and it does this with such joy and such purity. Like your aura is yellow and green. Okay, who else is here? Okay, so Sue. Okay, Sue, how your gifts are received, what I feel like for you when someone's able to like actually tap into feel your gifts, how it works inside the body is it comes through like a wave that's also very salty, specifically a saltwater wave, and specifically your powers will alter depending on where the moon cycles are. Your body feels very sensitive to different water levels. And so in times when you feel bloated or like you're holding on to water retention, you'll know that it's time for a purge. You'll know that it's time to put your gifts to use and that you've been holding them back and that they are stagnant. So when you're holding on to water, it's time for you to purge your thoughts, feelings, emotions, whether that be out on a journal or whatever it is. But your gifts definitely work in the element of water. They're always a liquid and they're always a wave. So people will experience it as a rush that comes through them that is intense, and it kind of like makes it so that there is no other choice but for the dark, gross, yucky stuff to be washed away. And then what happens is after that happens, there's a step 2 to your gift. So step 1 is the water comes in through the body and is released, but the client can't release until you release. So you guys have to release together. So when you're holding on to your emotions and you're not letting go, anybody who you've been working with, they also won't be able to let go. This will be actually very key for you. So when you're in your personal life and you're in your private life and a client is feeling stuck, you're going to know that their energy is stuck in you. So anytime your client is stuck, there's something in your body it also creates you to feel stuck because you care about your client so much. So then you guys become stuck together. So it's important for you to drink a lot of water and also release. And I want to say even put essential oils in your water. And then after that, after the release happens and the water flows through and your gift and your energy comes through like a riptide, this is why it's also important that they know how to receive your gifts, because if they lack motivation, they simply can't even receive your gifts, period. So then phase number 2 is more of like a steam bath. It's more of like a sit back. It's more of like a let's look at everything we've done. Let's reflect and let's decide how we're going to do this next wave. So you are like a series of tidal waves where each one gets ridden with ease. And then what happens is they no longer need you to flush them out with their energy. They can actually learn how to ride energy with you. And then you guys aren't just plunging into water together, you're actually riding the wave together. Do you know what I mean? So that's how I receive your gifts. And what it really allows is for them to create momentum and for them to not have to pull you back trying to get motivation from you. Okay, who else is here? Who else can I tap into their specific gifts? Monet, I know Monet's here. So Monet, the way you receive gifts is actually very similar to the way you put your gifts out into the world. It's very platinum. It's very like when you do it, and you do it forever. And I think this is why you have mindset blocks around being afraid to like commit to something, because it very much feels like I'm committing forever. And I think it's because you know how impactful you can be and that it does change people forever. So then what happens is you second guess because it makes you feel like you're locked into that forever. So because part of your gift, which is the very thing that you avoid, because I want everyone to ask themselves this right now, the very thing that you're avoiding is probably the next thing you need to jump into and embrace. So why doesn't everybody, as I'm tapping into Monet, why doesn't everybody comment below what the thing that they're avoiding is, and I'll see if I can take it deeper. So Monet, for you, part of your gift is that you lock things in. Like that is part of your gift. It's like someone will come to you with something that they've been struggling with for a very long time, up and down, roller coaster around. And you will come in with your gift and you'll literally solidify everything. And so it's interesting that you have issues committing to something long term, because the crazy thing is that you can commit to something for a second and make a lifelong impact. So just because your gifts make lifelong impacts doesn't mean you have to be attached to something lifelong, because then you feel like it's a trap that's holding you back. So if you actually just embraced the fact that one moment from you, one kiss from you, one hold hand from you, one eye contact from you is enough to change a life forever, and then you don't have to like try to make it last longer. You don't have to try to hold on to a connection longer. You don't have to try to make it longer. You don't have to hold tighter. You don't have to embrace stronger. It wasn't because you held on too tight. Like all that shit is just a bunch of nothingness. So if you would just trust and know that your energy is working for you and it floats through and everything it touches turns to platinum and turns to gold and turns it into a trophy of pride, that is your gift. Okay, so let's see what everyone's afraid of. Okay, projector power for sure, and like a riptide of energy. Yeah, I love that. Okay, so Jane, avoiding visibility, show up more and share more of myself. So that's another one on visibility. Okay, so the 2 on showing up, and okay, so Jane, the crazy thing is that you want to be seen so badly, but you won't allow yourself to be seen as fully bright, as on top of her world. So in the weird thing is in the moments where you're on the highest high, when you're feeling the best, I feel like those are the times that you actually avoid for some reason. So if you could actually be in your best and share from your best, because there's this feeling of like when I'm going through something tough and when I've overcome something, then I'm willing to share, but you're not willing to like share and be seen just from a place of like, I'm happy just because I am, not because I made it through something, not because I achieved something, not because I worked hard or because I just went through something shitty and came out the other end. Like there's this feeling of needing to prove or validate being happy and how happy you are. You can't just be naturally happy. So can you let people see you for your happiness? And your gift will come in again through the throat chakra and through the neck. So it really has to do with like keeping your head on shoulders, keeping focus, keeping straight eyes ahead to like, what do you really want? Can you actually see what you want? That's why people aren't seeing you, because you don't see what you want. Truly, truly, truly. And then Melissa, on the showing more of yourself, it has to do with an energetic thing, because I don't feel like you're not showing yourself. It's that your energy is being held back by something surface level. So there's ideas and thoughts around the human body, the human mind, the humanness that's holding your, I feel like it, you know what? I feel like you might have it in your idea that you have to be bolder or louder by showing more of yourself, but that's actually not true. What it is you've got to get more quiet with yourself when you're alone, and then clear, and then show up and then share, instead of like, okay, how do I get my message across the loudest? Because your energy actually isn't loud. That's not what you naturally are. So anytime, and this goes back to what I was saying to you before, anytime that you feel like you need to get louder or more aggressive, immediately that takes you out of your soul. It's like faking an orgasm. You can't try to be bold or try to be loud. It's like faking an orgasm. That's not authentic to you, and it doesn't feel like you. And the only time you would ever do that is if you're frustrated. So that would be something I would pay attention to. Atina, with the writing the book, if you actually just start journaling and you actually just start like writing your thoughts, I feel like you're going to get more and more excited about your book. Because what that really has is your soul is saying like you have things to say, and you don't want to just say them once. You want to be able to get them out into the world so that they're on repeat. Like you want a lot of people to be able to hear. And so your human brain is also saying like the book is the way for you to do that, for you to get your message across, and for it to be, and also because when you read, you get attached to a journey. Like it feels like when you read a book, you can get invested in the book. So what you're really wanting is like people to invest in you, your journey, and what you have to say and what you have to feel. So you can do that on a daily basis on social media. And you can also release the pressure that if you don't write a book one day, it's okay, because you're sharing your story, your world, your creativity, and what you have to say on social media every day. Because the very pressure that you're putting around the book is causing the resistance, and it causes the creativity to not flow through. So as soon as you tell yourself you have to read the book or have to write the book, then you don't want to write the book because it's a I have to. Erin, on the taking care of yourself, the very first thing that would happen if you plunged into that is you would get the body of your dreams, 100%, no doubt, no doubt at all. There'd be a thigh gap. There'd be melting down of the love handles. There'd be a chiseled cheekbones, and you would feel unstoppable. You would feel unstoppable, and there would be a sharpness and a preciseness to you. And I feel like there's a fear of what you could potentially or would potentially leave behind. Like, will I get so fierce that I won't be able to be soft anymore? Will it take away from me and my kids? Will it make me so unstoppable that I'm no longer thinking about other people's feelings? Will it, like, I feel like you're relating the work and dedication and the time that it takes to achieve that, you're relating it somehow to loss. So it feels like there's something on the line. So every time you go to do the thing for yourself, it feels like I'm betraying my kids, or I'm betraying this other thing, or I'm like, it feels like working out or taking care of yourself is linked to loss. So what you would have to do is untangle that. Rationally, of course, you know that it's not linked to loss. But as we tap into your very gifts, part of what your soul does is it moisturizes the next soul. It creates a wetness and a dampness to people who have been dry, to people who have been dehydrated, to people who have been neglected, to people who have been surrounded by a whole bunch of other crusty assholes and they just need a laugh. Like, I feel like for you, it's about giving women a place to be free and feel free around someone who is representing a body that they desire and dream to have, who doesn't have a crusty asshole. like somewhere that they can talk about not loving being a mom or loving being a mom, whatever they want to, right? Like, you are, so if you're dehydrated, if you're depleted, if you're not taking care of yourself, you literally aren't even the moisturizer that everybody needs for their dry vagina. You are the lube that people need. You're like the lube of motherhood. That's what you are. So when people are feeling turned off by motherhood, you come in with your Erin lubrication and you somehow make the motherhood feel sexy in a way that their husband couldn't do for them, because their husband was rubbing 1 centimeter to the left of the clitoris, trying to get it right and saying, yeah, but I'm rubbing your clitoris, but I sucked your nipples. And you're like, no, that's not what she needs. She needs the lube. And not just for sex, like she needs life lube. Are you not understanding? Like she needs lube every day, all day, to work herself up to that moment when you want to put your dick in her butt. Every time I channel Erin, these weird metaphors come out. But this is what it is you creating a sexiness around women who just feel unsexy, unseen, everything. And what I feel like you're going to be really amazing at is sometimes in relationships, what can happen is this tick for tack thing. Well, I did this, so what you did doesn't matter. And my husband and I had to really go through this as well and heal this, because it often would feel like there's a me and there's a him. And like when it comes to us, it's like a, you know. And so what it comes down to is like, if he wants, I used to give him this metaphor, like this used to be the common fight in our house, is like, he works really hard. He works 10 hours a day. He goes to a job, this and that. And I'm like, well, the kids are a much harder job than that. Like, have you ever given birth? Let me shove this watermelon up your fucking nostril. And then you can talk about your pain of your piddly little vasectomy to me that is legitimately a puff of air that goes into your balls. Then maybe I'll listen, but like probably not, to the idea of what your vasectomy has gone through versus what my vagina has gone through when I can't put this watermelon up your motherfucking nostril. Then we'll have a talk about it. So, Erin, this is going to be your specialty. Like, to every woman who ever wanted to shove a watermelon up her husband's nostril, like, you're the girl. And you can somehow bring a lightheartedness to it, because it's really not that serious. We all feel it. See what I channel? This is divine channeling. Watermelons off nostrils. Okay. Taking care of myself. My souls know what I'm good at in coaching, but I'm afraid of not doing it right, not enough. Fear of being misunderstood, of where I feel not sorry. I'm going into business. But then, okay, so Kendra, I don't totally, because I'm channeling, I'm not totally understanding what you're saying, but I can express the energy that's coming through. So whatever it is that you just said there, I'm not sure what the question was, because I'm lost in a channeling tunnel vision. But what I'm feeling for you is that there is a nurturing that you do for your family and everything around you, and you do feel comfort and alignment with that. That actually feels very good for you. But what happens is what was feeling really good for you in that time period is no longer feeling good. Like the kids are growing out of it. They're becoming more independent. And what it's calling you forward to do is be more independent in your business, in your life, in the way that you market. Like there's a new level of skill that's going to come forward, and it's time to nurture your business. It's time to nurture your body. It's time to nurture your beauty. It's time to show your beauty online. It's time to show the best of yourself. It's no longer the time of like complete dedication to that one area of your life. And it's time to really break out of your shell and come free and like spread your wings, baby. Like it's not that you haven't been spreading them, but like you're ready to fly. You're ready to fly and soar. So that's the thing that I feel like for you is next. So remember, you guys, that the reason why I'm doing this right now is because I'm like fully out of the spiritual closet. Like a lot of times I used to lead with business, and obviously I would be healing. Like I would talk about business a lot because I am really passionate about helping people with their business. But what I'm really passionate about is using my gifts and my intuition to help you bring your gifts to light and for you to heal. So that's what these Witch Hazel, I'm doing these sessions called Witch Hazel Healing Sessions, which is going to be 3 Zoom sessions for 30 minutes for 1,000. And it's really going to focus on this. You're so good because I've been very present online before, and I've been working on my energy. That makes complete sense. Yeah. Sue, yes, also writing a book. So relevant. Perfect. Kendra, I want a gap in the legs, no double chin. Gap in the legs means, so if you're gathering fat on your inner thighs, it means you're also having problems with opening up because the fat is gathering right where your vagina is. So there's the vagina hole, and then there's the thigh fat on the inner thighs, and that prevents any kind of like connection with your truest, most feminine part of you. So you need to work on also opening up to different methods and different ways. And the more you open up to that, the more you'll also shed the fat on the inner thighs. And then the fat gaining on the double chin has to do with, number one, portions, overeating portions, and using food to shove down emotions and using food instead of communication. So there's a block in communication and eating crackers and snacks and goodies instead of communicating and saying, even like communicating with yourself and like saying and feeling the things that you actually have to say and feel to the world. Because Kendra, I feel like you have so much to say to the world that you're not saying at all. And so the fat is gathering in your double chin. This is so good. Real shit. Love it. Casey, lube of motherhood. Oh, I gotta brand that. You crack me up. I hold my sexiness back, and that's mine to figure out. And Erin, I don't feel like you hold it back. Like it's coming out more. That's for sure. Like you're definitely not totally holding it back. Okay. Sue Jones Miranda, gold buttholes last week. Now lube. Just popping in as soon as bedtime now. We'll catch replay in the morning. Thanks for the tag, Monet. Oh, okay, who is trusting me? Okay, Ashley Almeida, are you still here as well? Can you let me know? Can be a whole program. Exactly. Breaking out of the spiritual closet looks fabulous on you. Thank you. Pointing out the black. I know, fucking crackers, man. Just get away from the crackers. Step away from the fucking crackers, goldfish, fruit bar, snacks. It's all dumb. Let me just make this healthy cookie and then like eat too many of them. Okay, Ashley, for you, when I feel into like your gifts and what I feel like you have that's really special for this world to present to this world, and whoever wants a reading, please comment below next. And obviously if anybody is willing to like share the video, I would obviously appreciate that too. I was eating crackers all morning, you guys. The funny thing is, you guys, crackers don't make you full. Crackers do not make you full. It's because you want the crunch. So just to tell you too, anytime that you're craving the crunch, is because you're craving impact, right? So that's why. So if you're craving impact in your life, what's happening is you want to create that crunch and impact in your mouth. So that's where crunch cravings come from. First timer, what's happening here? Yay, Colleen! Tanya. Okay, so many new people. So Ashley, the way that your gifts, so I'm doing channeling here. Ashley, the way your gifts, I feel like, are received is it's this like structured yet soft. It's like honest, to the point, yet also soft and willing to listen. So you're this very beautiful combination of like sturdy yet soft. So people can come to you and feel safe with like, let me confide in you about this thing, and like, don't pussyfoot around the truth. Can you please just like tell me straight up? Like, I don't want you to just baby me. Like, I want you to give me a reality check, but like, don't totally bitch slap me with it. Like, give me the reality check, but give it in a way that I can actually receive. So what happens is, for some of us who are very bold, we might be very intense and we can feel intensely. When we get too passionate, our words will create such a punch that we will punch people with our energy, and it can't actually be received because it just like blows them back. Do you know what I mean? So anyways, Ashley, I feel like for yours, you are the perfect combination of that. Like, you are the perfect like stability of, okay, let me come here. It's really safe to be you. And like, I'm not going to judge you, but I'm also not going to just like let you get away with your bullshit story of victimhood. Like, I'm still going to tell you straight, and I'm still gonna like do that. Yeah, I was the queen of the bold punches, I'm telling you. And it does work on some people, but it only works on adrenaline junkies. So for those of us who are doing, it's about the energy that we're doing in it, because we don't have to try to be bold. So Melissa, you know how I was talking to you about how your essence actually, like who you are, like who your soul is? Your soul isn't, bold is not the word that I would use to express your soul. Like, when I actually look at like your soul, it's very soft. It's very feminine. It's very in the moment. It's very it's very trusting. So anytime that you're not in your soul, you're not feeling in the moment, you're not feeling trusting, you're not feeling soft, you'll come out with your boldness as a way to protect or get your message across, because in a costume of passion, but really what it is it's a fighter mentality. Like, you better hear me, and I'm going to say this louder since you aren't listening to me. So that's how you know that you're not in your authentic self. Bold isn't something, we don't have to try to be bold. People who are bold just are. So the more you are in your truth, the more you are in your soul, the louder your soul gets heard, which could be bold, right? I feel like my bold is sneaky like you. I don't feel the punch, but wonder where the bruise came from. So Shira, for you, when we look at your soul is very lighthearted and it's very witty. So anytime that you go into, and it also is bold in the way that like it will say the thing that it's thinking. So like your soul is very outspoken, and she definitely is loud, and she's loud with her humor, and she's loud with her happiness. So when you are out of character, it's when you're using your sharpness to make a jab. So let's say you're having a fight with somebody, or you're feeling resentful about somebody. What will happen is that wittiness will turn into sharp little jabs that you know can hurt somebody. And like, we all do this. We purposely will hurt somebody in a moment of feeling anger. So anytime you turn to like making jabs, then you'll know like, okay, is this my soul? No, my soul is lighthearted. My soul uses this piece of her to create wittiness and laughter. She doesn't use it to create pain, because all of us, we can all use our gifts. There's always a flip side to our gifts. Like, For me, for example, one of my gifts is sharpness and preciseness, and I can go into something very exactly, and I can pick out that exact sensitivity, and I can use my sharpness on a flip side. I can use it in a moment of anger to really hurt somebody and like viciously like attack. Like I can use my sharpness to say something that I know will get them right exactly where I know it'll hit them in the feelers if I'm like feeling like I want revenge on them because they said something to hurt me. So I'm going to say something immediately back, but even harder. Like that's how so for me, my gifts, I can compound. So I can receive somebody's gifts, compound it and give it back to them. But I can also receive somebody's anger, compound it and give it back to them. So we all have to learn how to use our gifts properly. Sometimes I feel like I can be bold in my content stories, but need to match that boldness with owning the value of my programs and my prices. Kind of. Okay, so Eliza, the reason why you're bold when you're with your content is because that is your soul. So your soul expresses itself through movement and through body, right? Embodiment of the human body. That's what your soul is. It's like, okay, I am fully embodied. I'm moving and I'm talking to you and there's vibrations coming out of my body and they're landing with you. And so we're talking, but we're not talking. So the reason why this has come out is also because of the times when you maybe felt not confident in your English, or maybe you didn't feel confident in the way that you could say what you were thinking. And so what happened was your soul developed a way to get its message across through the dancing and the body, because that is your soul. So where you might stumble on with the human brain, like you aren't meant to function from your human brain. You are meant to function from your body. And so that's why you're so drawn to me, is because I'm a body integration coach. Like I read through body. And so that's why you'll often find that people who have maybe had transformations, or they've been down a nutrition path, or they've been down a weight loss path, a lot of those people tend to come to me, because they have similar codings and they understand similar things inside their body. Their body holds codes around food, around nutrition, around workouts, and our souls immediately know that. And so we'll plop into each other's atmospheres. So for you, Elisa, your challenge will be, is can you let your soul price the programs and trust that? Just the way that you dance and you trust that you're in movement and embodying the dance, because there's no way for your human to think about it. Do you notice how you're not thinking about the steps you're going to do in the dance? Can you do that with your pricing? Can you let your soul price it? And so for everyone here on pricing, somewhere that I kind of went wrong. So when we're pricing things, we want to let the intuitive hit, the first hit, come through. So what happens with people who in your human design, if you are not a sacral authority, if you're an emotional authority, you don't get the yes, no. You don't get the this is what to do. You don't get the yeah, uh-huh, go. And then you'll hear people saying like, okay, it's uh-huh or uh-uh. And you're like, well, I feel both. So if you're an emotional authority or somebody who works with body, you have to think about how it makes you feel, and you have to hack your healing modality. So when you tune into, you have to first discover what your yeses and nos are inside your body, which will feel different for everybody. So Elisa, for a no for you, it feels almost like this clenchy pull down cord feeling coming out of your vagina, like almost like an umbilical cord, like it's being pulled out from under you. That's a no. Like, does it feel like a clenchy pull down grindy cord? And a yes feels like this movement. Okay. So when you're dancing and you're doing like this, like that is like a yes. It's like a open, whew, like welcome. So does it feel like that dance move? Or does it feel like a pound down into the pavement move? That's a no. So when you're asking yourself and you're feeling into different price points, you want to ask yourself, okay, what would $500 feel like? Does it feel like a pull down pressure pull, like being held back? Or does it feel like a open embrace? Does it feel like that? And then you play around with that and you start feeling into that. So you cannot let your brain decide the price. So for people who are overthinkers, it's very important for you to learn how to read your body. So again, this is something that I can do in like my healing sessions, is actually teach you how to hack your very own lessons that are inside your body to tell you the answers. Colleen, why is it I'm so in tune session with clients, but when it comes to social media, I blank on my messaging? So that's because you don't know how to speak from your soul yet. So you're still trying to speak from your human on your messaging. So what you have to do is drop down into your soul. And this is something that I could teach you also in private coaching. You would do really well at private coaching. I have a private coaching package, which is, there's one for $10,000 a month, which includes my mastermind, my programs and everything. Or there's another one for $3,100 a month, which is just a Voxer. So just saying, for you, that's what I feel. But what you want to do is you haven't learned how to channel your soul yet. You haven't learned how to guide with your soul. So when there's no information or facts for your human to grab onto of like, oh, that would be a good idea. It feels like when you go to do your messaging online, it's been a lot of like external stuff. So when there's no external stuff happening and nothing sparking your interest, you have nothing to say. And then it might cause you to like ghost. So if we were to drop down into your soul and talk about the energy of where you're at right now without a strategy, without, I'm saying this because I'm trying to get a client or I'm trying to get these people into this thing, like without that, we want to drop down into your soul. So I'll see if I can drop down into your soul right now and see if it has like a message. I have eyeliner from crying. So it would be like when you're feeling a little bit like you're not ashamed, but you're also not super proud of what you're doing. And what's really wanting to come forward is more structure, yet flexibility at the same time, and wanting to feel like really wanting to feel very effortless and wanting to feel not seen, but like heard, and really wanting to feel like your message is completely coming across with the right wording. And what happens is we can get really caught in our heads about what sounds professional and what you should say and what can be received, instead of just what is the message that you're trying to come across with. So for you, Colleen, this is the very thing that you would talk about, is the confusion of, do I say what's on my heart or do I say what I think they need to hear? Do I talk about what I'm feeling or do I talk about what they're going to get? Like there's this constant duality of, do I market from feminine or do I market from masculine? So when I'm talking about the energy, that literally is the post that you'd be doing. Like you're talking about the energy that you're in. So for you, it's very important for you to feel proud of putting yourself out there. It's actually the fact that you're even making the post that's creating the energy. So it's actually not even about what you say. It's about you feeling proud that you showed up to your work and you did what you needed to do, even though the situation and the wording didn't come out perfect. So can you feel clean and clear even when you're not clean and clear? Can you feel good with like just being you? So the coding that you would need to untie is that things need to come across perfectly articulated, and you need to know what you're talking about. And what that means is you don't fully believe in the power of your energetics. Because like I said, your words are the human thing that we designed to communicate, but you don't believe in the power of your body because there's something not integrated. So you would need to learn how to go down into your soul and listen to your soul like I just did. So do you see how what I did was I took the human thing that you wanted, which was to be able to go and post and to be able to go and message. And I looked deeper into like, what does your soul want from that? So your human says, I have to show up to work and get my message out there. But what your soul is wanting is to feel proud of a job that she did. That's what your soul is wanting. It's not about the perfect message. It's not about that. Your soul is asking you to follow through with things that you've committed to, even when you feel like it's not the perfect thing. So that's something I would want to work with you, like even 3 months is what I feel like it would take to transform so that you could fully lead with soul instead of your human, because your human is running 80 to 90% of the game at this point, and your soul is like just barely coming through at whispered times through a meditation or through a yoga practice. So once you learn how to drop down into your heart and your soul without meditating, without having a yoga, like to do it at just any moment, this is what's going to really change your life. So at this point, even I could do that more, right? Like our human is still in there. Our human is still necessary. But when we can notice when we're thinking out of our human brain instead of being in our soul and in our heart, that allows us to look at it deeper and have the awareness. So there's the private coaching, which is $3,100 a month. 23. Yes, so true. Yeah, Shira's been working on this too. Eliza, that's the thing. I use my brain to price offers. Then I want to change it after I've launched. Yeah, because here's what's happening, Eliza, is you're putting pressure on yourself to come up with a price. So your brain will be like, how much is it worth? How much are other people charging? How much did I charge last time? And then as you start to embody the program, the real price comes through. So what you would need to do is you would need how to learn how to embody the program right now and step into the energy right now in your heart so that you can price it. Because the deeper you get into the energy of the program, the more the price comes clear. So this also has to do with not launching it so fast. Not launching it quickly right now because you need to make some money quickly because the money needs to come in. Like that's how it's got to go. The one thing about who else wants me to, I know what we can tap into next, because this is about overflow, right? This is what we all want, is like overflow in receiving. So what we're doing is we're starting by saying like, okay, well, how am I receiving the energy right here, right now? Like, how am I receiving Tasha's energy right here and right now? So as I'm talking, everybody should be feeling into the vibration of my words. I'm a manifesting generator with emotional authority. I don't know anything deeper than that. So what does everybody want? Like, what is the actual next level desire for everybody? Let's all comment that, and then I can kind of go into that. So I want everybody to say, what's the thing that they want right now? So we talked about the thing that we're avoiding, right? And now we want to talk about what is it that would be the dream come true? Like, what do we really want? Everybody comment that below, and then we'll start tapping into that. And just a reminder for those of you, I would love it if you share the video too. I haven't been asking people to share because I got distracted. And then remembering that, what do we really want? Yeah, what's the thing that you really want? So Jane, when I feel into like overflow for you, the thing that I feel like is that what is actually pushing you forward is trying to get away from the past or avoid the past. So the thing that's preventing you from overflow is that the past keeps coming back and like overriding your future. So because there's so much coding and stuff around the past and the momentum, and it's like this constant push, this constant, you've got to go faster, you've got to go harder, you've got to go better. And you're like, I literally can't. And then it kind of just like overrides everything. And then you just get defeated. Then you're just on the ground and you don't have the power, energy, or ability to like stand up and go forward. So there's an energy management thing that happens, because I literally see it as like this tidal wave coming over, hitting you on the back, and you just like falling on your face. And so it's this feeling of like, I am going to fall on my face. I know I'm going to fall on my face. I'm just not going to do it. Or like, okay, well, I'm willing to do it, but like, I know it's going to hurt. And then there's this constant like expectation of, you know, unideal forces that are working against you. And so the next step for you would be to learn how to actually ride the wave instead of get hit by the wave. So what happens is when you're actually connected to yourself and you're actually aware of the things that are going around you, the tidal wave doesn't just come and fucking hit you out of nowhere. That still can happen, but as you're aware, you're on top of the energy and the energy is carrying you to the next level. It's not like the tidal wave is coming through, hitting me with energy, I'm getting knocked down, and then once the energy is gone, I get back up, I calmly compose myself, and then I move forward. So you're taking like the remainder of the plow that you got hit with, and then you're using it, yes, for material, but it would take you so much further if you learned how to ride energy. So you can learn how to ride energy, number one, in my infused masterclass, which is $111, or you would do really well in my mastermind, which is 10 days for $444 or 30 days for $1,111. And the third thing that's coming through is doing my private coaching 10-day trial for $1,111. You need to learn how to ride energy instead of get hit with it. That's the biggest thing. Aliza, soul connections, purpose, fulfillment, and financial freedom. There's some stuff in your heart chakra that needs to be unlocked, Aliza. There is protective coding around the past and the history around different energies and the history around people doing to you, people taking from you, like aggressiveness, maybe even violence. And although you are open and willing to move forward, there's some forgiveness that needs to happen around the past for you to reach that ultimate, because I know you've done so much work around vulnerability. And it sucks to say this, but there's another layer, and it has to do with healing the past, healing the pain from the past. That's what it has to do with, because it's creating fear of the future. It's creating fear of like, I can't be held. I know I won't be held. I've got to be stronger because I know I won't be held. So mastermind or private coaching for you too. Ashley, filled up program, not worried about my bills anymore, not worried about money ever again. Yeah, so Ashley, there's a lot of focus on the not, right? Like most of what you said is what you don't want, and it's good to know what you don't want. But what I really see from you there is there's this kind of like depressive energy that might come in once in a while and sort of like take over and prevent you from being able to see the positive outlook on things. And it feels like also there might be people around you who kind of are a little bit of a toxic energy, even if it's someone all the way from a dad that you see once in a while to somebody negative on the internet to an ex-boyfriend that you think about. Like it can even be thinking about something that brings negativity into your energy. So what I'm feeling for you is there's a gentleness that really is wanting to occur. And it's really about taking your time and being able to process your feelings instead of trying to rush through your feelings. Like it feels like when you have any kind of like negative feeling, you're just like, oh, Ashley, just get over it and move on. And that kind of works for some things, but what's happening is there's this whole pile of things that you told yourself to get over and move on, and you haven't truly gotten over from them and moved on. So there's this looming feeling all the time, even when it's a positive thing, of like feeling unsatisfied or feeling like it's not clean enough or it's not good enough or it's not this enough. Like there's always this kind of like pile of garbage beside you that never truly got dealt with. And it's almost like you can just smell it. And you just know it's there and it's kind of festering, but you're like fighting it off because you don't want to be negative. But really, if you just allowed yourself to be disgusted by this, and this thing you don't like and that thing you don't like it's the fighting off, the trying to convince yourself that you're not mad, that's actually making the madness or the sadness or the whatever pile up. So there's what needs to be looked at is like, okay, I'm actually not over this thing. And like, I know that it feels dramatic, but I'm not over it. And then working on that. So that's something that I feel like we could do in the 3 healing sessions of Witches Hazel, which is 1,000, or in the mastermind. And I'm feeling for you at least 1 month for 1,111. So we could work through that pile of shit, work through that pile of garbage, and you can throw the garbage at me and I'll help look at the garbage with you. Melissa, better health. So, okay. So for you, what I'm feeling like is you pick up things from other people. So you pick it up sometimes intentionally, but then you don't know where or how to put it down. So I always see the same vision of you, Melissa, which is a coat of black, like a black sheet of metal that is across your back. So this is the vision that I've seen on you from the beginning, and then an open heart. So it almost feels like you have decided that the open heart is all that matters to move you forward. And while that is true, and I do believe that you're moving forward, there's always this trappy, exhausted, unflexible sheet of black metal that is always across your back. And I also feel like you could benefit from taking iron supplements as well. I feel like you may have an iron deficiency. I don't know, but iron is needed in your diet for sure. And it's like, can you, whatever that black sheet on your back is, that's the thing that I would like to work on with you in like putting that to rest for good, because it's always there. It's there when you exercise, it's there in your dreams, it's there when you go to bed, and it's uncomfortable. And I don't know if you're actually feeling it, but it feels uncomfortable. It feels like this thing you're always carrying, but yet feeling really open and spacious at the same time. It's like there can be moments where you might forget about it, but it's always there. So there is some coding around structure, around masculine energy, around the ways that you have to be, around stability and what your idea of stability is, and stepping even more so into freedom, even more so into your feminine intelligence, even more so into like your actual essence, and not needing that boldness to push you forward. So for you, I would feel private coaching. There's the gifted at $3,100 a month, or the 3 healing sessions at $1,000. Yeah, the Tidal Wave Dream Come True is my YouTube blowing up with soul subscribers, a vibrant community to play with my gifts. Okay, so Atina, what this really is, like if we drop down into your soul and like what your soul is really wanting out of this is there's also a playfulness about it. There's a non-attachment to it. There's it's not that I have to, it's that I want to. And here is, because I do see you doing a book, but I see YouTube being easier for you than a book. The reason why is because it doesn't feel like once I've started, I have to finish and complete the book. The thing about the book, about why I think that you've been avoiding it, is because it takes commitment, and you know that you're going to have to like go back to that book, and you're going to have to like continuously work on the book and like all the way to completion. And the reason why you haven't started is because there's almost like this feeling of like you won't finish it if you start it now. Like it very much feels like you don't like the feeling of like starting something and then it doesn't get completed. Whereas a YouTube channel just has this openness. And I feel like right now that's probably more effective to put your main focus there. The reason why is because it feels less trappy. Like when you're writing the book and it's the right time to write the book, it's just going to flow out of you. It'll be like, I couldn't even not write the book. Do you know what I mean? So the YouTube thing is the funner thing that you actually want to do. Like even in feeling the energy behind it, I can feel like it's so much more driven by desire. The book feels a little bit more like at this moment, it feels like what you have to do, and that's why you're not doing it. So that can stay on you have your whole life to write a book, but that can stay on the back burner. And when it flows out of you, it will. And if right now the way for things to flow out of you is through a YouTube channel, then let that be the easier way. this is what I think is going to happen. The more you work on your YouTube channel, the more you express creativity there, it's going to spark that creativity fire. And then it's just going to be like a whole wave of creativity that will spark the interest for you to do the book. For sure, that feels way better. So I think that for you, if you did like my mastermind or private coaching, those would be the two best things, because we could like walk through that together. Janet and Julia, are you still here? You are so gifted. Thank you so much. I love you, Eliza. And Crystal, are you still here? We want to be able to, because some of these people might not be here anymore. Okay, Julia is still here. Okay, Julia, effortless and deep connection with people, even through internet distance. Trust that right clients will find me. Trust on the way I show up, bringing me more joy to show up. Okay, that's the thing that you really want. Yeah, and what I feel like is what you're really wanting and what your soul is really wanting. So remember how I taught you how to do this in the mastermind? It's like go deeper into what your soul is really wanting. And it's wanting to see the full spread of your amazingness. Like it's wanting to see the visual, the outside of like what you have really created. This is the thing that I feel for you is going to be so satisfying. There's a piece in you that wants to come forward with exactly what it is that you are building and constructing in your life. And there's a satisfaction factor that comes with that. So let's talk about that energetically speaking. Let's talk about literally the energetics of that. Because what it feels like is like all these different various crashes of waves. It's almost like a beautiful, like beautiful chaos, beautiful, unstructured, unplanned openness to whatever comes in, and like an intensity that comes in with each different movement and each different job and each different energy. So as I see you working with various different people on various different projects, each of them is going to hold an intensity. And what I feel for you is the visual that I'm getting is like you standing in the middle basically of a tsunami, but it's not a toxic tsunami is the weird thing. It's your ability to hold all of these energies that are crazy intense and feel stronger and more empowered than ever, and like not losing your balance. It's like this ability to be like, it's like that. And then intentionally putting it all down when you want to. So it's like this ultimate energetic flow, but intensity is very key for you. So this is that's what it feels like energetically. Janet, overflow in bank account, having more than enough sold out programs with soul clients. Okay, I don't think Janet's here anymore. Sue Jones Brand, are you still here? I want more growth and expansion in my business, more people to play with life in business. Okay, so for the people who, okay, Crystal is here still. Okay, Crystal, I forget what it is that you said that you really wanted, but what I'm going to do is just tap in right now and then I'll do Sue. Okay, so Crystal, when I picture your dream life, what it feels like energetically is like so much serenity, peace, and also zestiness, aliveness, healthiness, growth. Like it's very important for you to have plants around you and to have lushness around you. And also I feel like there's another elevated level of your marriage that's going to come through. And it's not that you don't have a good marriage or anything, but we're always growing, right? And so what I see next coming through is like your marriage being an even stronger and even more capable and even more amazing. And I know that you've been working on yourself, and I think that next is going to be his healing journey, however that looks. And it feels like he's been, maybe he's either has been or is about to be more intentional about his health and his role in the family, and like how everybody's health is so important. So when I'm tapping into like your overflow of it, there's definitely nothing in the way. Like it feels very much like, okay, I have this dream life And now what do I want to add to it? So it's like this feeling of healthy and whole, and just deciding what it is you want to add to that and who you want to be in your company and what that kind of like looks like to you. So there's a new level of knowingness of like what's really meant for you that's going to come forward. And more freedom, more agility, less holding back, and knowing when to really come out of the total lean back phase into the, okay, and I'm ready for right now for the next step. That's what I'm kind of feeling for you. Monet, I desire my business to sustain my living expenses and beyond. No more side hustle. Yeah, and there's this feeling of like an unshakable foundation. Do you know what I mean? Like somewhere that you can really put your feet on the ground and call home. Yeah, Crystal, you would do amazing with the healing sessions. That is coming forward crystal clear. Like with the Witch Hazel healing sessions, which is 3 Zoom calls at 30 minutes for 1,000, you would do, like, that's very evident to me that you would do amazing with that. And we would teach you how to read energy inside your body so that you can come back to home anytime. Monet, for you, it's this feeling of like, okay, so what's needing to come forward for this dream to happen, Monet, is this unshakable knowingness. So when you can feel that foundation and knowingness that you're on the right path and stop getting in your head and going into the doubt, that's when it's really going to come through. So when you picture, so I want you to picture, say, like your relationship with your husband, right? Like the knowingness that you have around the faith of your marriage and your husband, or the faith of like your car. Like I know you bought your car outright, like the locked in foundation of like, I'm going to have that car for as long as I want, or this husband is going to be, what does that feel like inside your body? So this is reading your body for codes. And like when you think about your husband and your marriage, what does that feel like? It feels like this very sturdy, upright, I'm in it, I'm here, I'm no doubt. And you notice how it's not that when you tap into like your relationship with your husband, for example, because we can mimic this to like your relationship with work or your relationship to business. It's like, it's not that you think that your marriage is just going to be flighty-whitey, perfect, and like there's never going to be a problem, and that you're never going to go through a phase of fighting. That's not what the knowingness is about. The knowingness is about like, this man is meant for me. So like this business is meant for me. Like I know that this is meant for me. And it's not like every time that he's not there to spoon me at night or to watch Netflix with me or to make me a grilled cheese sandwich. I don't second guess our marriage. Like I literally feel like that's what you're doing with your business. Like every time your business doesn't make you a grilled cheese sandwich, you second guess it. Like you're like, I'm in the mood to have a grilled cheese sandwich. And my business won't make me a grilled cheese sandwich. And like, I asked the universe to make me a grilled cheese sandwich and it's not doing it and it's not coming through my business. So like, fuck you. I'm going to go to the store and I'm just going to buy a grilled cheese sandwich because like, I don't trust you're going to take so long. You're going to make me go hungry. You dumb bitch. That's kind of how I feel like you're talking to the universe. Like, you are such a slow, lazy bitch. That's how I feel like you're talking. How do I know? Because I've done that too. So if instead of feeling like the universe is a slow, lazy bitch, what if you were like, shit, I'm not even asking for the death sandwich. Yeah. So you didn't even ask for it. So you didn't even ask for the sandwich, but yet you're like, but I wanted a grilled cheese sandwich. Like, couldn't you read my mind? You should know. Like, I just have to like think about it. You should know I want a grilled cheese sandwich. Oh, well, you brought it to me and it's actually not quite as crispy as I wanted. And I wanted Gouda cheese, not mozzarella. You dumb bitch. So it's just about getting more specific, Monet, and like just really trusting, right? Like trusting that if it doesn't get it right, Like if when your husband brings you the grilled cheese sandwich that is subpar, it's like, can you still think it was cute that he brought you the subpar grilled cheese sandwich and like be like, thank you? It's kind of like, I have this list. Okay, so I desperately want my husband to surprise me with stuff. Like, it's like my dream for him to do this, for him to do surprises for me, because he's not like that at all. So the plan that I came up with, that me and Melanie came up with, like, we're going to make him a surprise list full of surprises that he can randomly surprise me with. Like, this is my dream. So like, Richard is the universe in this thing, and it's like his dream to surprise me. So I make this list. It's like cute stuff, like a picnic, like a huge giant coffee mug that's like a unicorn or something, like stuff like that. So I have this surprise list so that he doesn't fuck up presents. And do you know what he does on Valentine's Day? Gets me something not from the list. Gets me something that's exactly what I don't want for Valentine's Day. A box of chocolates. I couldn't want a box of chocolates less. Like, actually, I swear to God, I specifically said, don't get me chocolates. She gets me chocolates. But at the same time, like, can I just allow him to be cute? Like, and just allow him to grace me with the chocolates that are going to cause me to gain 5 pounds? Thank you for this 5 pounds of weight gain that you're giving me right now of these chocolates that I would have never eaten. You're literally making me less hot giving me these goddamn chocolates. But like, let's work on it. Maybe I needed to be more specific. How can I be more specific in a kind way instead of a, oh, hell no way, right? One time ever, my girlfriend, he asked my girlfriend what to get me, and she told him like my favorite mascara. So now every goddamn motherfucking Christmas, he gets me this mascara, and I'm like, oh God, please, not another mascara. Please, God, not another mascara. It's like, the poor guy. They just can't listen. Okay. Let's see what else we have on the vision board. Love this. I'm not even asking for the sandwich. Okay. Annie, are you still here? Okay, I see Sue is still here. You feel so grounded today, Tasha. It's really beautiful. Yay, I love that. Okay, Annie, I might be till late, but would love a channeling about opening to receiving money through my business. Okay, so I don't know. Okay, Annie's still here. So in the receiving money through the business, so this is what you guys all want to do. So this is what I do in my Witch Hazel healing sessions too, is what we want to do is we all want to learn how to listen to our soul and talk to our soul and receive our soul, right? We all want to learn how to be soul guided. And it's so crazy because we all know money is a byproduct, yet we all keep talking about money. It's so fucked up, right? Like, including me. So it's like, why do we do that? Why do we do that, right? And it's because it is a desire. Like, for sure, it is a desire. And what really, if we go deep down into your soul on this, Annie, is it's like your soul is wanting validation that what she has to offer is worth something. And what she also wants is freedom. Like, she's looking for expansion, and there's a feeling of almost like trappedness, and like there is something that needs to come forward and be created and birthed. And I don't know exactly what it is. So maybe I haven't started my business exactly. And then there's just this like contrast. Do you know what I mean? There's this contrast of like, I want to expand, but I don't know how. I want to receive money, but I don't know if I'm good enough. And so what we would really want to work on is you tapping into like your special gifts. So when I feel into your gifts, what energetically they feel like, and this is something that I do with all my clients, is like really tap into what your specialty is, like what your certain thing is, is it's very much, it's like this huge puff of air that comes out of the heart center and creates a vibe, and it creates an aura, and it also attracts attention. So what's happening though too is there's a whole bunch of stuff that needs to be released, and what it's doing is it's preventing you from being seen, from like your soul from being seen. And so, because your aura is blue, it's like a crystal clear, kind of like bluey, like the color of the Mexico Ocean. It's so pretty. And it's very crystal. It's got like dolphin energy in it. It's playful. It's pure. It's clean. It carries you. It's fun. It's charismatic. So all of those things are a very special piece of like what you have to offer to the world. And it's about figuring out how you want to present it. So how that's going to look for a launch, how that's going to look for branding, and how can you bring that playfulness and respectfulness, and that like there's this urge to like go back and forth with people, right? Like really not wanting to do it alone and wanting to like talk with people on this journey. So anytime that you feel alone or cold or like, you know, in solitary, that's very not in alignment with your soul. Like your soul does not like feeling cold, sheltered, and alone. Your soul likes to feel free, open, and flowing. So I think what we would do is we would probably want to do, number one, the healing sessions, like the Witches Hazel healing sessions, 3 sessions for 1,000. Or if you need more of a journey to like your business unfolding so that we can walk through your business unfolding, it would be probably the mastermind or private coaching. Because the mastermind, it's like you can receive so much from me saying something here, but you've got to be able to integrate it, and you've got to be able to like launch it, present it to the world, stay in the energy of it, not disconnect from it, learn how to read your soul. Like there's so many different things involved in that. So if you did the mastermind, it's 10 days for $444, 30 days for $1,111, or 3 months for $3,000. The 3 months would obviously take your business to like a whole journey unfold. Do you know what I mean? Now, what can we go into next? Throw a question at me. Just throw it at me. Any question. If I was your private coach right now, if we were in Voxer right now, and we were private coaching, like what would you say? And who else is on here? Put a heart so I can see that you're on here, because then I can see if like anything kind of just like bloop, plops into my vision. But you know what, the biggest thing that I'd like to see for everybody here is, because most of these things, Sue, most of the people on here are wanting their soul to like come through. So Sue, for you, again, what we would want to do is work on teaching you how to talk to your soul, how to listen to your soul, and then eventually your soul just takes over, right? So when you're thinking about what your soul wants, you're having to go deep down into an energetic feeling. There's probably, you got to identify what your human wants first, and then you go deeper into the soul. But if I had to go deep into you, like I definitely feel roots of like travel. There's interesting, you have ties, it feels like, specifically around Ireland. I don't know if Ireland holds like a coding or something, or that like being drawn to there, but there's some sort of like coding around Ireland for sure. And the next thing, it's wanting like a complete transformation. It's wanting to let go of a whole layer. It's wanting more flexibility. It's wanting to like completely come forward with a rawness and a realness and a nakedness. But there's things that you're doing that are like covering you, that are shielding you. I'm like, I'm afraid to be this way, or I'm afraid to show that, because what if it's this, or what if it's not enough, or what if it's not good enough, or what if I'm not far along enough? Like there's this wanting to present yourself to the world, but wanting to be better before you did it, wanting to be fully seen, but wanting to be better before you are. Do you know what I mean? Like that's the vibe. So what we would have to work on with you is like undoing those layers. The mastermind for sure would be a really good fit for you too. The mastermind. Like even if you start at a 10-day, either mastermind for $444 or private coaching, you can do a 10-day private coaching for $1,111. That would be such a good start, because it kind of feels like you just want to, but you don't really know how. Do you know what I mean? How do I get out of my own way? Crystal. So I feel like for you, Crystal, it's trying to do things too fast, trying to do things too quickly, and then things are getting missed and it's getting done half-assed, and it's just this flailing and like throwing things at the wall and seeing what works, which is fun. It's fun and it's like playful, but there's a new level of intelligence that's going to come through, like a new level of mastery that's going to take more intuition for sure. It's going to take a new sharpness of intuition, a new level of awareness, instead of just like, again, I feel like you're just getting hit with energy instead of connecting to energy. So energy will happen, things will happen, and you'll just get like plowed and bulldozed. And it's never just a really big deal because you can always handle it, but it does set you back. Like the falling down is happening because things are building up too much that then you'll get hit with it. So the falling down and the tumbling, and like the visual that I get is like, not only will you fall down, you'll like fall down and roll. Do you know what I mean? It's never just like a trip. It's never just like a little boop. It's like, okay, I'm falling down. I'm literally somersaulting down and rolling. And like, I'm tucking my head. Like I feel that it's happening, and I'm just going to do what I got to do to like get through this. And then I just end up where I end up. So instead, if you could learn how to feel energy and connect to yourself, because you're not really extracting the lesson when that happens. Like you're in it, but you're kind of like, I don't know why that happened, but everything happens for a reason. And so you're not extracting the lesson. So that just will happen again. And I continuously get visions of your husband. And once you do that, your marriage is going to be even better. Like I feel like your marriage is already good, but it's going to be even better, and it's going to elevate you guys together. So the healing sessions for sure for you. My desires are always Sue. My desires are always soul-led service with high-level clients, multiple courses, and my podcast book out in the world. Okay, so Sue, without tapping into what exactly you said and looking at the energy of that, it's, you know how I talked to you about your gifts and how they come like as a tidal wave that goes through? What I'm seeing there is your ability to manage multiple different tidal waves. So this means that you would have to get to the point where your energy works for you and you're not always the one creating it. So your energy is so strong and so potent that your energy works for you and brings things to you. So instead of working towards something, it's plopping in your lap. So you're simply being you, so strong in your tidal wave and so strong in your energy that your tidal wave naturally forms another tidal wave of emotion, of clients, of all of that stuff. And it's simply you just allowing yourself to be more of you. You allowing yourself to come forward as you even more. Like even better outfits, even flirtier posts. Like even, I definitely see the book. Did you say a book? Multiple courses and podcast book. Yeah, okay. Definitely I see the book for sure. And I think you could even start like planning what that book would look like and like thinking about the chapters. Like I feel like there's going to be 10 chapters to your book, and it's going to, like, I feel romance around it. I feel a story. I feel something that's connected to the heart. I don't know what your book is about, but this is the energy that I feel around your book. It feels like it's going to include like pieces of your life. It feels like it's going to be precious. You know how people like write in baby books? It almost feels like it's like a fundamental life baby book. I don't know what that means at all, but it feels good. It feels amazing. It feels driven by desire. It feels like it's meant to be. It feels like a yes, 100% yes. So the more you're able to connect to your soul, the more you're able to listen to your soul and lead with your soul and receive guidance from your soul, the next thing that's going to come in is like your gifts right now work as the element of water. The next thing that's going to come in is you're going to learn how to do this new gift that comes in as the element of air. So it's a lot more ease and it's a lot less intense. And then what's going to happen is, the thing is like, you know how like the wind and the waves go together as one? You're going to have like these different energies that just exist. You're not trying. They just are. So when somebody is in the heat and it's just so hot and there's a lot of pressure, you get to be that little waft of breeze that comes in and allows them to exhale and like really feel liberated and like relieved almost of like, okay, I can do this. So what I feel like you're going to teach people with is this exact thing, is knowing how to do 10 things at once with ease and knowing when to be that air for them that comes in as that refreshingness. Like there's a very, because you have an intensity to you, which I feel like is pretty mastered. And there's a softness that wants to come through that is your essence. So it's very much so not trying at all. It's not trying at all. Witches Hazel doesn't have a specific start date. Like it's open right now because it's private calls. Like it's literally me and you on a Zoom call. So it's open now. I don't know how long I'm going to leave the pricing open for, but like the branding of it is going to be dropping tomorrow. Staying connected to my offer and stop self-sabotage. Elisa. Okay, so Elisa, for you, this is all about staying connected to your offer. Means stay connected to your body. Your offer and your body are not different. You're viewing them as different. They're not. Your body is you. Your offer is you. So stay connected to your body. Stay in your body. Stay feeling your body. So as you and I eventually, as we learn how to just talk through body, I'm telling you, it's going to be the best moment of both of our lives. So if I tap into like the energetic feelings of that, like not the humanness, like the actual energetic feelings, what this is it's this feeling of being taken by life. It's this feeling of like, finally, I don't have to try so hard. Like finally I'm being taken. Finally, I'm being healed instead of like always healing other people. And like, finally, I'm receiving what I feel like I was always supposed to receive. Like, I never doubted my worthiness. Like, this is the weird thing. It's like, I don't doubt my worthiness, which we think is our ability to receive, but it's also your ability to be carried and to be able to take it to the next step. Like you're open to a certain level of receiving. You're definitely open to receiving physically through pleasure of the body, but are you open to be able to receive energy and being energetically held? So what I'm feeling like for you is what will happen is you will be able to receive energy through people physically. And so what can also happen is lust factor can outshine like what's really happening because you're able to receive so much through coding and pleasure. What can happen is what you're actually receiving from a person can get all muddied up and it can get confusing and you can tell that something's off and then you can't tell what you're receiving through pleasure and what you're actually receiving through love. And so the love and lust thing, the desire and need thing, the human and the soul thing, that's the constant battle. That's the battle. So when you can learn how to synchronize those two and let the other one win and fully trust it's like another level of trust, another level of integration, another level of like, can you let your soul also almost like override your body? That's scary, right? Can you let your body lose control? Your body is part of your human. Can you let your soul lead? Because your soul and your body are synchronized a lot of the time, but your soul doesn't call the shots. Can you let your soul call the shots? Can you go deeper into your soul and what it has to say? Because it's like this, it's not a human word. So when you're going to make a decision, does it feel like this? Or does it feel like, oh? Because what's happening is you're entangling like sexual frustration with passion, and frustration with passion, and frustration with like fieriness, when if you were truly synchronized, it would be a right? Handling the feelings of guilt and shame about people asking about my offer, then not signing up. Ooh, 12K words so far in your book. That's cool. Majority of the writing has been channeled. That's amazing. When does Witch Sales start? What direction should I take my business in next? Intuitive mentoring, business coaching, or my public services? So what you want to do, Jane, is you want to ask yourself which one of those feels better, right? So when we're working with healers, we're not looking to get fortune telling, right? We're not looking to have our healers like give us answers to things. It's more about learning how to tune into yourself. So when we look at the energetics of that, you want to look at how each of these options feels. So when you look at intuitive mentoring, it's kind of like this clenchy, clampy feeling down here. So you would have to work on opening up your chakra as well. Business coaching feels really good. That feels really good. There's a lot of surety around that. There's a lot of like knowingness. And public services feels not good. Honestly, that doesn't feel good at all. So the intuitive mentoring feels a little bit more of like what might make it more appealing. And I think that's something that you're probably going to add on. So the best one that I feel is the business coaching. And I think you're going to include, I think that the intuitive mentoring is just going to happen inside the business coaching. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like you are really good at like laying things out and helping people with like a clean plate and a clean palette. And there's like a starting from scratch, like you are really good at that. So when we look at that, like business coaching, when I look at that and I feel into that, it feels clean and it feels crisp inside the body. So this is what you want to do, because maybe it feels different in your body. You want to do the same thing. So you want to say, okay, intuitive business coaching. What does that feel like inside of my body? And then it also feels very swirly. It feels like sort of like confusing. So I think I'm like picking up a little bit on the confusion. Yeah, just DM me, Crystal. That would be amazing. So I think I'm picking up on a little bit of the confusion, but the one thing, this is what I feel like for you. Start with the business coaching and build from there. That's the thing that I feel like for you. Melissa, do you have another question, Melissa? I noticed that you said that you're still here. What was your question, or what was like your last thing that you said? Sarah, I loved your TikTok with side puss. That word never gets old, right? Side puss? Okay, I fucking invented that word. And I feel like it's the funniest word of all of history. Beautiful. Yes, you are spot on about the confusion. Okay, I am on it. Yeah, and I think what this is, Jane, is I think that it just has... Michelle, do you have a question to bring to me? I think what this is, Jane, is... side puss. It's gonna build on itself, Jane. is like, I think you're going to start with one thing and then organically it's going to roll into another thing. I did this video in this dress that had like 2 slits up the side, and I don't know, side puss showed somehow accidentally. It was like literally a 0.5 of a second of side puss. Like, it wasn't that big of a deal, and it went viral on TikTok. It had like all these people shared it as a duet, and all the people were going like this over my side puss. And I'm like, can you guys, I mean, whatever. My next step is intentional side puss. Next time I'm going to intentionally do side puss and see what that is. So funny, right? I'm feeling a lot of stuckness in business, but movement in my life. Okay, so Michelle. Okay, so let's tap into like what it would take to feel that overflow, like in your business and really drop down into your soul. In the business, I feel like there's some things that just aren't the right fit anymore. There's maybe some old structures that you did that you're like okay with, like it's not like a big deal, but there's an old energy that's kind of fizzling out and you're stepping into a new energy, and the stuckness is being created by holding on to some things that are no longer needed. So the stuckness to me feels like that's what it's rooted to, and it's also rooted to this chakra right here, whatever this chakra is. So there's a whole bunch of like energetically what it's showing me is all these webs of what you might have seen to be intentionality before, but what it's doing now is it's like becoming to feel like it's holding you back. Like there was like, okay, or even like different ideas, because it feels like there's like a billion different ideas that you maybe have had from the past. And it's just showing me like all of this webbing, like it's being shown to me as webbing on your back. And the webbing is infused with consciousness and it's infused with intelligence, but it's just not the right fit. So it's not that they're bad things, they're not bad ideas, but all of these ideas came to you when you were a different person. So if we could actually swipe clean all of those different billions of ideas and threads and attachments, what I actually feel like would happen is something new that would be more of a match to you would come forward. So the letting go of all the thoughts, ideas, the repurposing, the bells, the whistles, and coming back to like more of a simple, like more simplicity, and like starting from scratch and letting those ideas rebuild. Some of the ideas might come back in a different form. Some of them might not, but the ones that are meant for you can't leave, right? So for you, I'm feeling like private coaching would be really good for you. It's $3,100 for a month. Or a 10-day private coaching for $1,111. And I think what we would work on is like, what's the idea that you want to step into? Like, what is your soul actually wanting? And the healing of all the healing, right? Melissa, my challenges have been working a strategy with my energy and health circumstances at times. Do you have anything come up for me around this? Okay. I have a feeling that you might have it in your head that when I cure my health issues, then I'll be able to go full board ahead. So it feels like the thing driving you to cure your health issues is so that you can do A, B, C in your business and do it better. And what I feel like is actually coming forward is that you will be able to do that and hold both of those things. And it's the gentleness. Always, it's coming back to the gentleness with you. Always, always, always. And I feels like you can often get frustrated with your body as well. like with your body and what it's doing to you, or the health stuff that's going on. And it can feel like a burden, and then it causes frustration, and then it also causes you to show up in your business with frustration. So even though you're not meaning to, frustration will be in the energy of your post when you're annoyed at the thing that you view as holding you back. But what I feel like is it actually continues to pull you back to a gentleness with yourself. It continues to pull you back to having to ease into things. It continues to pull you back into your consciousness. And that's the thing that's working for you. So as far as like helping your health issues and like getting to the bottom and the root, there was the iron thing that I mentioned, and without really knowing anything about what's going on, I don't know if it's like something in the bones. I don't know if it's something in the bones, but I do feel like there's natural supplements that you'll be guided to, whether it be through a natural path or like maybe you have someone you're already working with. But supplements and herbs feel like a yes, for sure. And then like as natural as possible, like I definitely see all sorts of like aromatherapy. I see like acupuncture. I see the herbs. I see general healthy living. And also it feels like you are sensitive to smells, and that if there's a lot of toxic energy or toxic fumes, that you could be sensitive to headaches, and that also wouldn't be good. But the main lesson I feel like for you, Melissa, is it's bringing you back to your gentleness constantly and constantly. And actually, when you're in your gentleness, you're truly in your soul. So it's a way of bringing you back to your soul, although that might be really annoying to hear. And I hope you find that, like, I hope you have the most amazing health journey and that you find your way as well. You actually, you know what, like going deeper into that, the Witch's Hazel healing sessions would be amazing for you. And I think what we would work on is syncing up your human and your soul, because they're fighting right now. It feels like your human is like, I want to do this, this, and this, but I'm also sick, or I'm also feeling this. And then your soul is like, be gentle, be gentle. And your human's like, no, fuck you. I'm already gentle, get fucked. Like that kind of conversation is going on. Like, you're annoying, go away, I can't be bothered. Soul's like, be gentle, be gentle. So actually there's an inner energetic healing that's wanting to take place. 1,000%, Melissa. Like, I couldn't be more certain about this. I for sure feel like this would be a good thing for you with the Witch's Hazel things. So it's 3 30-minute sessions for 1,000. And then of course you can do Voxer for like follow up. I've been shedding, and yes, feeling like starting from scratch. Yeah, Michelle. I posted a question above. Monet. Okay, let me find your question, Monet. Question. What can I do to work on my self-sabotage? I continue to watch myself do it. It feels like in slow motion sometimes, especially around food and not moving my body. Okay, so when it happens in slow motion, you're meant to like really pick up things from that. You're meant to really be in the moment. And it's weird because when you're doing it in slow motion, you're also numb at the same time. It's like this weird psychedelic high that you're getting off of that. It's happening slowly, and you're witnessing that it's happening, and you're in the high, and you've somehow convinced yourself that as long as you're in the moment with the food, yet you're eating too much of it, you've somehow convinced yourself that like that's okay because you're being present with it. But you're still there's still toxic patterns in there. That's what's happening. So you're using being present in it as an excuse to use the food for a high. And it's not that it's bad to get high off food. I mean, I think we all do that. I think we all eat something and we're like, oh my God, this is so good. Do you know what I mean? I think we all do that, but this is different. It almost feels like you're present, but you're not present at the same time. Have you ever been so into something that the energy like fogs and goes like blackout, and you can't even hear anything that's happening? You almost like completely block out and the air goes thick. Like that's what I feel like is happening. And here's what I think is going on is I think when you eat the food, you're using it, you don't know how to let go of the surface feelings without the food. It's like, you know how people, okay, so let's say, because it feels very much so like magic mushrooms almost. So here's the thing, is we all have tools that we use to kind of bring down those barriers that we don't want to feel. And when our brain isn't able to do it, when our brain isn't able to free itself and it literally needs like a chemical to do it, we will do things like we will use tools for that. So that's where ayahuasca comes in, and that's where like magic mushrooms comes in, and micro dosing and things like that. Somehow food is doing it for you. So what it's meant to do is take down barriers and take down that layer so that you can receive the high, right? But you're using food as the high. You're using the food to get into the high, and then you're sitting in the high and like feeling the high. But the thing is, the food is like sabotaging what would actually allow you to just constantly live in a high. Because if you actually had the body of your dreams, you would always be in the high. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, exactly. So, Monet, you also would do really amazing with the Witches Hazel healing sessions. Because do you see how what we're doing, how we're connecting in energy right now, and how I'm expressing the energy to you? Do you see how what we're doing? When you're actually able to speak back to me, and like we're able to do it together, it's a lot different. So, as you're eating the food, you're like chewing the food and you're like chewing it slowly, and you're getting the impact and feeling the impact that you want to feel. And it's like euphoric almost going through your mouth. And it's like just so good that you just could never imagine having a life where you didn't eat it, but yet you think that you would have to not eat it to have your dream body. That's not actually the case. So it's almost like you're like, okay, I can't live without eating these things. So I'm like committed to eating these things and not feeling bad about it. So I'm actually refusing to feel guilt or shame or anything about it. Like I'm fully being present with this food and I'm eating it, but there's like a sneaky thing that's happening that I can't put my finger on. It's almost like a fake spirituality. And I don't know if that's quite the word, but if you were able to, because you can achieve that feeling without the food, and you have, and you know you have. Yet you keep using the food to get it. But you know that if you actually just, okay, it's an excuse. The food is an excuse to say you did something spiritual. It's as simple as that. Okay. So you know that you could get that feeling without the food. You know that. You know that you have, you know that you could, but it takes a little bit more work. The food is your pill, right? It's the pill that makes it easier. It makes you be able to do it in a second. So as long as you're saying the food is a spiritual experience, you get to not feel guilty about it. Because you're saying, okay, I'm sabotaging myself. I know I shouldn't be doing this, but it's a spiritual experience because I'm being present with it, and it's just an excuse to not feel guilty. It's a Band-Aid over it. Because what you really want is to be spiritually connected to your body. That's what you really want. And what you really want is a tight body. And the food is doing the opposite. So the question would be, is like teaching yourself to be able to come back and harness that tightness and harness that awareness. And it's actually going to be a lot sharper, and it's not going to be so foggy when you do it without the food. Because when you're doing it with the food, it's like this moist fog high that you're not even really able to say what happened in it. It's like, okay, well, I know that I just felt something, but like I don't really know what it was or what I got from it or anything like that. I just know that it felt spiritual. Whereas when you do that out of like complete clarity, you actually get to extract the lesson and take it with you instead of just like, I was just high. So what's really being called forward is like this ultimate clarity that's wanting to happen, but the food is fogging the clarity. And then you're using spiritualism to be an excuse to not feel guilt, and then you're just like ping-ponging all over the place. And you still do feel guilt. You don't feel guilt in that moment about the food specifically, but you still do feel guilt about where your body is currently at versus where you would like it to be. The guilt is still there. It's just being overridden in that moment by the food. And so I think it's about like really looking at a healthy relationship with it, healthy boundaries, there's so many different things tied up in there. Your mom, your relationship with your mom and however she viewed food or whatever the family dynamic was around food, like that's in there as well. Did you live in Mexico? I can't remember if you said that you lived in Mexico, but I can't remember if you were like were you ever really poor or anything like that? Because I feel like there's something around like cultural stuff, like where you were raised, the culture, all that kind of stuff. Like there's things around that as well. And then there's also a bunch of fight or flight stuff. There are flight or fight stuff. Like there's also that as well. So who else is here? Who else would like to throw a question? So do you see too how when you're maybe not focused on having like a specific result from something, what you're going to get from like healing or what you're going to get from a live or what you're going to get from a riff is so much more powerful because if you're just open to whatever comes through, this is where the magic really lands, right? I wonder if we can feel like where that's cutting you off from receiving. Because, okay, so Monet, the way that I feel like that's also affecting like your money and your business is it's also affecting your worth and how you feel about yourself. And it also feels like when you feel yucky and fat and like you just sabotaged yourself, it's also making a ripple effect into your worth, which makes you not want to show up at work. Like, interesting enough, I actually feel that you show up to lives and work the best when you are on an empty stomach in between meals, or even in the morning before you've even eaten anything and you've just had like a coffee. I actually feel like that's probably when you show up the best. So anytime you overeat or overindulge, it's not even the point of the overindulging. It's the point that your intuition doesn't work well when that's happened because there's a heaviness inside you and it's not a clear channel. So that's what I would look at too. Is there anybody else who would like to ask a question? Yes, ripple into my business. Yes, gonna do that more on an empty stomach. Yeah, and some people, like a lot of channelers say that about the empty stomach thing. Everybody's different. Like a lot of psychics will say like they need sugar for their intuition to run, but mine doesn't. I definitely don't use sugar for my intuition to run. Okay, so I am gonna pop off. So I would love it for anybody who was on. If you want to share the video, that would be super helpful. And then remembering that the options to work with me one-on-one are the 3 Witches Hazel healing sessions, 30 minutes in Zoom for 1,000, which is 444 for 10 days, 1111 for 30 days, and then 3,000 for 3 months. And then my private coaching, which is $3,100 a month, which is all in Voxer. So it's all focused, intuitive, like focused on you. Or if you want it to include my mastermind and all my programs, then it's $10,000 a month. So those are the different options. And that was a blast. 2.5 hours. That was crazy. Okay, bye. Sue, which mastermind or 1 month or Witches Heal would be best for where I'm at? Sue, the Witches Hazel feels amazing for you because of body integration. Out of the 2, I feel like the Witches Hazel feels the best. But what you would also do is you would ask yourself that, right? So when I feel into 1 month of mastermind, how does that feel inside my body? So right there, it feels like a whooshing. It feels like a containment of energy. It feels like energy is moving. I can feel that tidal wave inside you that is just ready to like come out of your heart. When I feel into the Witches Hazel, so the mastermind, it feels like a more like intensity. It feels like more like momentum. And then the Witches Hazel sessions feels like clarity. It feels like softness. It feels like exhale. It feels like steamy. It feels like a steam session. It feels like steam and pressure are being released, and it feels soothing. It feels slow. It feels like embodied. So those are the difference in the vibes when I feel into like how that would feel inside your body. So the other thing that you could ask yourself is like, does it feel like water or does it feel like air? And which one feels? Do I want like intensity or do I want softness? Like, what am I in the mood for? Because you could always add on something after too, right? I'm saving my pennies for the next phase to work with you. Yay! Okay. Okay, I want to pop off now. Bye.